All right, Mark Medina, you're up.
Yep. All y'all look ugly, by the way. I want to let y'all know.
Hey, Josh, Mark Medina here, USA Today. I hope you and yours are hanging in there during these tough times. Given the tough restrictions you guys have been under with quarantine and all that, what's been your takeaways of how you guys have tried to make the best of that with training and being engaged as best you can?
I feel like we've done a pretty good job so far. Obviously, it's all relative to what we could do before. But getting those shots up, getting, some full court work, trying to get up and down. Obviously, we play fast. So just trying to get that conditioning right, is the biggest piece. So I feel like we've been doing a good job with it. I would love if we could kind of ramp it up a little bit more before we got to Orlando and did more, 4-on-4 or 5-on-5 to kind of get us ready for that time. I think it kind of it'll be hard to go from, one-on-one workouts or, with coaches and all that to straight 5-on-5. So I wish there was a little bit more progression, but I think we're kind of handling it well within the guidelines of the NBA. Oh, shit, I know all these people. Damn.
Hey, Josh. Christian. I think Adam Silver said that we're going to just be living with this virus for a while. There are no perfect solutions for resuming the season. What are just your thoughts on the plan the NBA has put together?
I'm fully with it. I think right now, there's no vaccine, there's no preventative solution to this. So I think you just kind of, right now, you got to be okay with some type of risk. I think that it is what it is, unless you, stay in the house, every single day for the next year or so. I think you're going to have to be okay with some type of risk. I'm kind of just putting my faith in them. I think they're handling it very well. I think, the bubble will be safer than, a lot of other places or a lot of other markets there are. For example, New Orleans is boom, cases have been going up, Cali, New York, so I feel like the bubble is probably the safest solution to kind of what we're living with, right now. So I got full faith in the NBA and, the Pelicans organization to keep, everything as safe as possible.
Hey, Josh, it's Dan Wicke with the LA Times. Two questions. You mentioned kind of that quick ramp up. How concerned are you? It seems like that's something a lot of players are talking about, the move from 1-on-0 to 5-on-5. And then secondly, people who follow you on Twitter have seen that you are a golfer now. How much of this in New Orleans in Orlando preparing just to fill time in addition to getting ready for basketball?
Yeah, so the first part about that, what was the first part about it? What was the first part of that question?
Sorry, about kind of how concerned you are with the ramp from 1-on-0 to 5-on-5.
No, I'm definitely a little bit concerned about it. I think you saw with the German soccer league, they had, between 10 to 13, season injuries the first match week. So obviously, seeing stuff like that, is a little worrisome, but best thing we can do is just get with the trainers, try to strengthen the tendons, strengthen all the soft tissues, so we don't have those injuries. So I'm a little worried about it, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna just go out there and play basketball, the way I normally play, and I'll put everything in God's hands. The second part about that, I wouldn't say I'm a golfer yet. I'm someone who can somewhat hit the ball like 50% of the time. So definitely going down to Orlando is about, just filling that time. We're going to be on the court. It's not like a regular time, but you can be on the court for 3-4 hours, go home, eat, come back to the court, get shots up at night. Everything's going to be, very time restricted in terms of court access. So, golf, be a great way to, chew time up. Video games, stuff like that. So, I think that's part of the battle, just trying to fill that void of, how much time there is.
Hey, Josh. One of the things I asked Coach Gentry about the other day was the adjustment to playing without fans. one thing I think people have seen from you this first season playing for New Orleans is how much you like to kind of talk with fans and go back and forth. How much are you going to miss, being able to have some of that interaction that you always have with fans?
It's definitely a bummer because at the end of the day, you always like to interact with fans. You like to, make little kids' days and do stuff like that. But, playing with Villanova really helped me, has helped me before and will help me, in the bowl just because, the thing Coach Wright said, we play for our teammates and coaches. And I think that's something I can, take into the bubble because at the end of the day, you have those other 14 guys that's on the roster with you. You got the coaches, you got the people that's in that locker room. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Obviously, you love the city, you love the fans, you need their support. But, when you're on the road, you got no fans. You don't really got that many fans unless you're the Lakers and they travel very well. But, when you're, a smaller market team, you're on the road, all you really got is those 20, 25 guys that's in that locker room. So at the end of the day, it sucks not being able to, have those guys at your back, but, I play for my teammates and coaches, so I'm not really worried about it.
Hey, Josh. When Alvin spoke with us the other day, he said that he really hopes that he's going to be able to make the trip. What are you hoping is the resolution that the NBA and the medical staff comes to around coaching decisions and who can coach you in the bubble?
Obviously we want, him there. I think our, defensive head coach, Coach Jeff, we want those guys there, obviously, but the most important thing is their health. So, like I said, we would like to see them there, but as long as we can find something in the guidelines to protect their health, their long-term health and the health of their families, I think that's, the biggest thing. At the end of the day, obviously, we love basketball. Basketball is our passion, but at the end of the day, basketball, isn't risk. Isn't worth the risk of losing your life or, losing some of your health. So, like I said, we want them there, but we want to protect them as much as possible.
Hey, Josh, the other day, David Griffin talked about the importance of mental toughness for the players, the whole team, actually. How much is that going to be a challenge for you all once you get down to Orlando? And you mentioned having all this free time. How much of it is it going to be physical? How much of it is going to be mental and you all trying to stay focused on the task at hand?
I think it's probably 10% physical, 90% mental, honestly, is because at the end of the day, we've been playing basketball since a lot of us can just walk. So, we're going out there, we're doing what we love. We're doing, we got the muscle memory. We've been working out, we've been putting the work in on the court, but a lot of it's going to be off the court. Obviously, having all that free time, not being able to see friends, family, children, wives, girlfriends, all that stuff like that. So I think that could take a toll on a lot of the guys. Obviously, if you're there, to the finals, you might be able to see your family, towards the end of that. But you're there for 1, 2, 2.5 months without any contact, with your loved ones, or you can't see your kids and stuff like that. So that's tough. So I think that's honestly the biggest part of that. So I think with that being said, whoever comes out on top, this year and wins the finals, I think they have an asterisk next to that championship. But that asterisk is, probably winning the hardest, finals it probably ever was, maybe ever will be.
Fletcher, go ahead.
Following up on the mental toughness and then also the question about Coach Gentry, you emerged as a leader on this team. Hypothetically, if Alvin can't go, would the responsibility fall more on you and Drew and JJ and some of the senior guys, and just maybe discuss that responsibility if you're playing without your head coach?
I'm not. You put me with those old guys, man. I'm not that old, man. I'm just 25. JJ like 40. But no, I think it definitely is. I think it's kind of the same mentality if someone was hurt and couldn't play. it's the next man up. So with that being said, if those guys can't go, Coach Gentry or Coach Jeff can't go, then we all got to step up and do a little bit more and fill that void that, that's there. So whether that's JJ, Drew, myself, Zoe, Zion, whoever it is, everyone got to take a step forward to take, more accountability on themselves and on this team to get things to go. I mean, I think, if we're just bummed that we don't got those guys and, we use that and if we think of it as the negative, then, the season's going to be wasted. So I think definitely is added accountability on everybody, but, it's a team, so we all got to fill that void.
Will Giller, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Words that popped up before all of this was some of the extension eligible guys were concerned about coming back. Obviously, you're one of those guys. How much did that kind of play into your decision whether you wanted to risk coming back? You talked about some of the injuries you saw in Bundesliga and stuff like that. How much was that on your mind, before coming back?
Honestly, it wasn't really on my mind until people brought it up. And, I started thinking about it a little bit then, but at the end of the day, I love to compete. I love to hoop. I love basketball. I want to go out there and play. And obviously, knock on wood, I don't get hurt, but at the end of the day, injuries are part of basketball. And if I went down there and I was only playing, half speed because I was scared to get hurt, then I'd probably hurt myself, probably get hurt doing that, or, I'd hurt my team from, their chances of making the playoffs and making a run and, cheating the organization and the city. So, with me, I'm going out there and just wanting to win. Whatever happens, I put everything in God's hands. I'm a child of faith, child of God, and, letting all that, up to him. I'm just go out there and just help my team and my organization in the city, do what we do best, and that's just hooping.
Hey, Josh. I think that racial inequality will be a big focus when you guys are down in Florida. I think the NBA is going to put Black Lives Matter on the court. What are you just hoping to see as far as like real changes in society to come from the focus on this issue?
Obviously, we want to change the hearts of some people. Obviously, we want to have a sense of defunding, some of the police. And that's not, when you say defund the police, it's not, take the police out and just let everyone run wild. It's, D Wade, I think it was Mark Hill, had a call with some of the CAA clients, and we were able to talk a little bit about it. And it was great in terms of educating us. And, that was one thing that we talked about, defunding the police. And we kind of related back to basketball. It's like, the police are being called for everything, whether that's, homeless people or, drunk people in the parking lot or stuff like that. And, they might not be, trained in that aspect of it or something like that. So, we want to take that off their plate. For example, I know who I am. I'm a, defender, rebounder, 3-point shooter, get to the rim. If you sit there and want me to, play like James Harden, take 40 step backs or dribble the ball however many times or be like LeBron and, pass facilitate, I can't do that. That's not what I'm good at. So I want that to be taken off my plate. And it's kind of like the same world of that. So we want that to happen. Try to take steps to take out systematic racism and all that. So what we're doing, we want to just, hope basketball helps bring people together. And I think that's the beauty of this game. It brings people from all ages, ethnicities, together. And that's what we want to do. We want to be a healing aspect during this time.
Mark Medina, go ahead.
Hey, Josh, I was wondering, what sort of window have you had into how this has been for Zion and how he's tried to get through all this?
Just a little bit. The biggest thing with me, I talk to the guys, But I don't want to be overbearing. I don't want to be that guy that wants, to try to be be a leader in too much of a way and talk to him every day and try to figure out, how the day's going and everything is going like that. So, he's handled everything great. I think body-wise looks amazing. I'm not gonna say nothing else. But he looks good. Shot looks better than I have been in a while. So, he's been putting the work in, and that's great to see. And I think he's handled. I mean, he's one of the players that got one of the brightest spotlights, in the league and in the world right now. So he handles everything with great, humility, and I'm very surprised and proud of just how he handles all this stuff.
Hey Josh, I know 3 of your teammates have tested positive, and I'm curious, what was your reaction when you heard that news? And as a player, I mean, do you have any concerns if and when assuming they do come back to the team, about your own personal health, being around players that tested positive?
When I first heard it, I mean, I take myself out of the equation. I mean, they those guys have it. I want to make sure they're okay, they're as safe as possible, they're doing well. I think that's the most important thing. And once they all those guys are good, there's no lasting effects or anything like that, and they get back to the team, we're just happy they're there and happy they're okay, happy they're safe, and I'm not really worried about my own health. I think the NBA has done a great job of putting an amazing protocol in place to make sure guys who have it are kind of contained and not put back into the organization until they're not contagious, until they got that virus gets out of them. So we want to make sure we're there for those guys, obviously not physically, but in spirit, and hope them the best and pray for them.
Circling back, Josh, to some of the social justice topics, have you made a decision? Will you keep your name on the back of your jersey, or will you go with Black Lives Matter or the name of somebody that just your thoughts on what you're going to do personally?
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to keep my name on it. I want to, obviously, want to be sensitive about, whatever I put on my jersey. So that's going to be a conversation I want to have with some, more influential people to see, the best use or, whatever the best phrase or name or whatever I could put on my jersey I could put on. So I'm definitely going to change it, but obviously, at this time it's a sensitive time, so I want to make sure I'm able to put whatever I put on my jersey to help benefit the Black Lives Matter movement and not, cause any friction with anything. So I want to definitely talk to some people that know a little bit more about some of the things. I'm not the most educated, unfortunately, about what's going on all the time. So I want to have conversation with with those people and kind of figure out the best thing to put on.
Hey Josh, Brett Martell here with AP. Could you just reflect briefly on how Zion's introduction to the lineup affected the whole team dynamic in the middle of the season, and maybe whether it made a playoff push seem more realistic than it otherwise would have been?
Yeah, I wish we had him at the beginning of the game, beginning of the season. I mean, I think you've seen, what his impact and honestly what his presence does. Honestly, I mean, we started the season 6-22. I think it was 6-23, and now we're in position to make the playoffs and make a push for the playoffs. So he's done an amazing job. Coaches and my team has done an amazing job of sacrificing their own some of their own roles to make sure we're able to get him involved, get the ball in his hands, let him play make and everything like that. So one thing that's the beauty of this team, this organization, honestly, it's kind of like a college feel, for me, because we're all so close and it's a tight knit organization that we want each other to succeed just as much as we want ourselves to succeed. So the addition of him, made us, a more aggressive, more dynamic. Definitely put us in an amazing job to make a push for the playoffs. I mean, I think if we had him at the beginning of the year, it wouldn't be, the story wouldn't be fight for the 8th seed. It would have been, we're, 4 or 5 seed in the West. Honestly, that's my opinion. So, unfortunately, we weren't able to have him at the beginning of the year, but he's turned this, helped turn his organization this season around.
Appreciate it. Where did you play golf the other day?
Monday I played, actually both days, Monday and Tuesday I played at Bayou Creek at City Park. So this week I'm gonna play at the Chateau Country Club. So see, you guys are being very nice saying playing golf. Like I'm out there swinging, trying to hit the ball. So I'm not gonna say playing golf. I'm out there.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Josh. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. All right. I'm supposed to say what's up, Eric. How y'all doing? I don't think I can hear it.
Malika Andrews, you're up first.
You'll only be able to hear us when we unmute. Hi, Zion. 2 questions for you. First, I was just curious what you're hoping to get out of, what your goal is with the 8 regular season games that you have in Orlando.
That's a simple answer. We're trying to make a playoff push, and we're trying to get back into our full game condition as well within those 8 games.
And then secondly, when we spoke with Griff the other day, he really placed an emphasis on the mental training that he wants to put you guys through every day. What are you personally doing to prepare for this task that is both a basketball feat and also one in isolation, separation from your family, being away for a long time, things like that?
I'm preparing myself by, bonding with my teammates again, talking to them, saying that we're going to get through this and we're just going to battle the mental battle within this. And as far as me also getting ready for that, it's just conditioning and, honing my skills.
Fletcher, go ahead.
Thank you. How was it hard or easy to stay in shape? Everybody's going to kind of disseminate the video and the photos of you yesterday. Are you, one, in great shape? How did you stay in condition? And was that hard or easy during the pandemic?
At first, I'm going to say it was very tough because, even now you still don't know what's fully going on, with that situation. But, me and my stepdad just found different ways to stay in condition, like on court, off court, just wherever we can find it.
And you feel like you're in good shape right now?
Yes, sir. I do feel like I'm in good shape right now.
Hey, Zion, I know you're a gym rat, and you kind of referenced you and your stepdad finding court. How much ball did you get to play during the lockdown? How much did you get to play with other players? Was it all by yourself? I'm just kind of curious because I know how much you love to just get on the court and ball.
Whenever I was on the court, it was just me and my stepdad. Like I say, we don't know the full severity of the situation going on at hand, so we didn't want to take any risk. So whenever I was on the court, it was just me and my stepfather.
And did you get to play daily, or how often did you get on the court?
I got to get on the court every day.
Hey, Zion, Dan Leckie with Daily Times. Josh just talked a second ago about having some kind of concern about going from 1-0 and not playing game speed since March and then having to go right into it. How concerned are you with kind of the very quick ramp up in this? And have they given you any things that people can do to kind of try to prevent the injuries and stuff that are sure to pop up?
Well, I feel like I trust our staff, our trainers, to lead us in a direction. We need to go within, keeping our bodies healthy and all that stuff. And, just trying to ramp up. That's the mental battle that I talked about earlier. We got to stick together, keep our emotions high and together, and I think we'll be fine.
What's up, Zion? I know we've seen a few things you've posted on your social media, but I wonder what's your perspective on, all of the protests going on around the country and the discussion around Black Lives Matter and what you plan on doing in Orlando to kind of help with that movement.
With that situation, I'm just going to continue to educate myself on that situation, talk with my parents, talk with, wise people, any info I can get from people. Just continue to learn about it and, consult my parents on the best way to use my platform.
Hi, Zion. Mark Medina here with USA Today. I hope you and yours have been hanging in there during these. I know this whole situation, no one's ever gone through it. I was wondering to what extent did your past experience with being out with your injury for an extended period of time help with, dealing with anything with the training limitations and dealing with any frustrations?
I'm sorry, what exactly is your question?
Yeah, I was trying to ask the fact that you had gone through adversity earlier this year with being out for so long with your injury. To what extent did you draw from those experiences to help with dealing with this whole situation?
Which situation?
With being, tied up in quarantine, having training restrictions, dealing with whatever frustration.
Got you. The same thing I've always done my entire life, just be with my family. And, as long as I'm with my family, I know that they got me. So I just stick with my family.
Thank you.
Andrew, go ahead.
Zion, when you said you were working out with your stepdad every day, where were you guys working out? Where did you kind of have access to be able to get to a court every day?
Can't tell you all my secrets, man. Some things got to keep to myself.
Got you.
Rod Walker, go ahead.
Hey Zion, when you look back last year around this time, you went through the game with the earthquake, and just how crazy has this past year been for you? Just everything that the earthquake, the injury, the COVID-19, just how crazy has this all been for you in the past 12 months?
The last 12 months have been a different experience. With injury, with all the stuff going on, not playing basketball as much as I'm used to. It's been a crazy experience, but like I said in the answer before, I stick with my family. My mom tells me, life is life. You may go through a lot of bad times, you may go through a lot of good times. It's just trying to prepare yourself as best as you can, and for me, that's just sticking with my family.
Jim, go ahead.
Zion, how excited are you to be coming up next week and no longer be a teenager?
Man, it's I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that because my birthday, I don't see it as a special day. To be honest, it's just kind of like another day for me. But just thank God that I'm, hopefully gonna make it to 20. For all the blessings I'm able to get and all that stuff. But it's weird. I'm gonna be 20. I'm no longer gonna be a teen, but it's in a weird way. I haven't felt like a teenager in a long time, so I feel like it's not gonna be anything different.
Ollie, go ahead. All right, Christian Clark, go ahead, please.
Hey, we saw you guys play about 20 games at full strength there. Just kind of a little bit of taste before everything got shut down. What do you just think this team can be when everyone is healthy?
I think this team can be really special when we're all healthy. It's just a matter of us coming together, fighting those mental battles, I guess of being in the bubble and just honestly coming together. I feel like we can come together and, fight the battles together. I think we can be something like really special.
Ollie, you there? All right, Will Guillory, go ahead.
I know you've told us a bunch of times, how much you admired Michael Jordan when you were growing up. I wonder what was some of your perspective after watching The Last Dance, and if there were any lessons you took away from that.
What I took away from The Last Dance is you saw his true love for the game, the passion he put into the game. And, that's the reason he is where he is. Him showing his emotions at the end of one episode about, sacrificing almost not friendship, but, to be disliked by certain people because he wanted to make his teammates so much better by pushing them. It just showed his love for the game, his drive of if he felt like somebody could do something as close as good to him, he wanted to show that he could dominate. His overall mindset throughout that whole documentary is something to look at, man. That's all I can say.
Zion, you're not too far removed from AAU ball. Have you got experience playing? Did you ever play at the Disney World Complex? And the mindset going into this, where you're going to play 8 games in a couple of weeks, what's your mindset? Is it going to be like an NCAA tournament for you guys, or even an AAU tournament?
Honestly, it's going to be just like the NBA, if you ask me. And no, I've never played an AAU game in that arena. But honestly, I think it's just going to be like the NBA, because in the NBA we play every other day, sometimes back to back. So I think it's just going to be like the NBA.
How much are you going to miss having fans? How much have you played games without fans in the stands, and how different is that going to be?
It's definitely going to be different because, I love the fans here in New Orleans. They show so much love. They always come out and support us. So it is going to be something different. But, that brings you back to what I've said on the previous questions. As long as we stick together as a team and give each other energy, I think we'll be fine.
All right, Amos, you're up. This is going to be the last question, guys.
Well, Zion, I was just wondering and curious, do you feel fortunate that the NBA was able to put this together and you're able to in some way complete your rookie season?
Yes, I'm very fortunate that the NBA was able to do this, because I trust the NBA that in the bubble we're going to be in a safe environment, protected at best from certain situations and, what's going on. And, yes, man, it's crazy, man. We're actually about to go. It's a lot to process for sure, but I am excited.
All right, great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Zion. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good to see you again, Will. You should be here, though.